Could not be played. Okay. Just doing a little test here, guys. I'm trying to tweet to actually go live on Twitter as well. And there happens to be some challenges with that. Just wanted to give everybody my post-game thoughts. I'm probably going to delete this post, so. We are live. Look, there we go. Okay, we are live. Awesome. Well, hey, Cleveland BCI, how's it going, man? Everybody just want to wait for everybody to kind of trickle in here and see how we can make this thing happen. Be right back. We are live. Look, there we go. Okay, we are live. Well, hey, Cleveland BCI, how's it going, man? Everybody just want to wait for everybody to kind of trickle in here and see how we can make this thing happen. Gosh, my dog locked himself in the bathroom and then went crazy. Hey guys, just let everybody kind of trickle in. I just wanted to give everyone my thoughts on the old Brownskis. And talk about it, and just we're just doing a little testing. I was trying to test it, see how we're doing on Twitter live, and looks like it's working. I assume. Bathroom. A little bit delayed, but seems to be working. Hey guys, everybody kind of Cleveland BCI, Ryan Brown, what's going on, guys? On the old Brown. It's picking up desktop audio. That's weird. Derek Jones, what's going on, man? I'm just messing with some settings, and I'm gonna go through some thoughts from the game. Yeah, I think okay, then I actually have to tweet it. Okay. Live thoughts on Browns. Tweet. Okay. It's apparently live. Well, we shall see. This is my first time trying to actually go live on Twitter. Robert Weber, what's going on? JOK is looking very good. Some thoughts that I would say. Number one, I thought we looked. I mean, even though the Jacksonville Jaguars were the worst team in the league last year, right? So they were the worst team, obviously. So they got the first round pick and took Trevor Lawrence. They are in a rebuild mode, probably similar to when we selected Miles, in that season. They're starting with a quarterback, which is fine. I think Trevor Lawrence was the right pick and everything like that. But they are a long ways away from being able to challenge real NFL teams. It is apparent that it was ugly for the Jaguars. We had our second team out there, very few players that are going to even sniff the field, and it still looked bad for them. So all in all, I'm thinking, if I'm the Jaguars, and you could see Urban Meyer's body language, it's almost like he was just sitting there like, really? This is what I came here for? Their first team was losing to our second team, and it was nasty. From the players' perspective, I thought our backup offensive line, all backup players, Weber was back out there, looked pretty good. Blake Hance looked good. I mean, there are a couple like little mistakes here and there, but all in all, it looked really great. And the number one thing I kept thinking to myself was, I can't believe this is these guys are just backups. I can't believe that we are basically gonna roll up to the Chiefs game one with a completely different team. Quarterback, offensive line, running backs, wide receivers, defensive line, linebackers other than JOK. We had a little Greedy Williams sight going on out there, although I don't think he did very much. Newsome had a couple nice plays. Unfortunately, got caught in a weird zone defense where Trevor Lawrence went over the top, and that guy, it was a great throw and made a great play. And was on top of it the second that guy caught it. But I'm not concerned at all about Newsome. It's just good to get him out there and get some snaps in him, and just see how it's going. Right. I think that defensively we basically blanked them. They had a missed field goal, but I mean we basically shut them down. Trevor Lawrence, I think Trevor Lawrence is advertised. I think he's pretty darn good. But I think that in this day, in this NFL, this is going to be a weird take. I don't know if it's good enough unless you're like pure, and I guess he could be like a Brady who could just sit back there with very limited athletic ability and just be laser accurate and have amazing fundamentals. But I see the NFL moving towards, the Justin Fields of the world, the Kyler Murray who can throw and catch, Trey Lance, throw and run, sorry. Trey Lance out there, those type of players that give you that second dimension beyond just, arm skill is I think going to be really, really interesting this season. And it's going to really start to tell like what these guys are capable of doing. Meyer used to have the talent advantage 99% of the time. Rude awakening. Yeah. Cleveland, BC. I agree, man. This is a rude awakening for him. He needs to absolutely realize that this is not going to be something like at Florida or Ohio State where he can just tune up with all the best talent in the world and just run his scheme and win. This is going to be looking like what a Nick Saban did when he came, back to the NFL as the head coach of the Dolphins. It takes a commitment. And that's one thing about Urban Meyer I've never seen. I've never seen a true commitment. He's always just jumped to from one stepping stone to the next to wherever he felt was necessary, whether that was Florida, then taking some time off, then Ohio State, then taking some time off, then the studio, going in and, with his kind of dry and boring personality, going on TV and doing that kind of stuff. And then now back to coaching again with the Jags. I think that it is going to take a while. D Flat, what's going on? Typical gamer. Hope Urban does well as a head coach, but he ain't at OSU anymore. Go Buck, go Browns. Yeah, I think it's just going to take time. Trevor Lawrence looked pretty good. The running back looked pretty good. Their defense, their defensive starters lost to our second team. That's it. They lost to our second team. So it is going to be a long season for our friends in Jacksonville. But we appreciate the tune-up, the warm-up game. We got a lot of good looks out of the guys. I thought Loletta did really well. I think Case Keenum obviously is a serviceable backup quarterback. I think that from some of the skill players that I saw that I was excited about, Davis really good job. JoJo Natson really good there as well. Had that nice long return that was unfortunately called back with a stupid low block call, but I think he's going to be probably a very good return guy. In terms of the defensive line, it was nice seeing Porter Gustin out there, making some things difficult. He's a guy that's gonna get some playing time this year. He earned it last year, especially against Pittsburgh, especially with that big key diving interception that he had. So Porter, good to see he's back. What else? And then I think obviously the big story was JOK. You know, the the Joker himself going out there playing like a man amongst the boys. That's how he looked. He looked like he was a college athlete playing against high school guys, and he didn't look like he belonged on the same field with the second and third team. So, but from what I understand, and a lot of people were asking, I was texting and DMing with, I was texting with Ristano all yesterday, and during the game, and he said that apparently the reason why JOK was out there for the whole game was because he was trying to make up for those 10 days that he missed when he was out with COVID. And the coaches decided that the best way to get him back up to speed, the best way to get him going would be to just give him the reps in the game, which I don't disagree with. It's just, I mean, you could get hurt in practice just like you can get hurt in the game. I think it's probably more likely you get hurt in a game because it's a non-controlled situation. But if we're trying to get this guy ready for week 1 against Kansas City, we need to get him game reps at full speed against another NFL team, whether it's first, second, or third team. I'm absolutely okay with that, considering he looks like the best linebacker we have, which is kind of also interesting too. My take on him from a size perspective, they talked about it a little bit on the announcers talked about it yesterday, that he's kind of that hybrid guy, could play strong safety, could play linebacker. I think Joe Woods and what Stefanski are gonna be able to do with him is leverage his athletic ability. I mean, open field tackling was something that it was horrible open field tackling for years, right? Years. And now, we're looking better. We're looking like we have a guy who could actually stop people. So it was funny when we saw the Joe Schobert was picked up by the Steelers. Schobert, I mean, that was one of his things, like the arm tackles that people would just run right through. JOK is going to stick you. He went in there. He's looking to put you down. So it was cool to see that aggressiveness at the linebacker position. He did allow him to get blocked a few times. I would want to point that out. He was blocked. He kind of just sat there and was kind of looking and allowed himself to get blocked by those offensive linemen who were pulling and that were out there. But all in all, good plays, good stuff. The other guy that looked good too is the safety. What was it? Lacoste, the safety. He looked good. Interception. So yeah. What do we got here? Natson is my pick for the return teams. This is typical gamer. I agree. Cleveland BCI. Myrov, health concerns or personal issues pop up again by week 10. That's funny. That was what I was thinking too. I was looking at him. He doesn't look unhealthy, but who knows with these guys? I mean, he also doesn't look like he's a health freak. He just looks like he's kind of a middle-aged, late middle-aged guy. And who knows what's going on, going through his veins right now. But yeah, I would not be surprised. I don't know. He's making a lot of money there too, though. So I don't think he's going to go on his own accord. And they also have to have a better option. So I think, what the Jacksonville Jaguars decided to do was, we're going to make a commitment to Trevor Lawrence, to Urban Meyer. We're going to let them build around that. So we'll see. Typical gamer says JOK is a first-team guy. He should definitely start. I think that's the plan. Yeah, Ryan Brown says, yeah, JOK look like a beat on there. Cleveland BCI. Daughter said he looks like a pinball bouncing around the field, the way he flies everywhere. Yeah, he's aggressive. You can tell he's got an extra gear, right, that a lot of these guys don't have. Never seen any defense swarm to the ball like the defense did last night. Yeah, and LeCount, that's the guy out of Georgia, drafted in 5th round. Yeah, he was drafted in 5th round. Yeah, that guy, he looked like he was okay. I mean, some of these guys, these late round draft picks, this is the first time where I really think that they're going to have a hard time making the team. We have so much talent right now, and we've got positions that are solidified, right? I mean, we don't have to have guys out there that we're pulling the trigger on. Interestingly, we saw a lot of Tebow's in the mostly in the third and fourth quarter, although he did come in towards the end of the second quarter and didn't really play a part. Almost had an interception go off his hands. Like, I called back. It still, to me, looked like it was an interception. He got under it, but whatever. It's preseason. I'm actually glad, because then, the media wouldn't crap all over him. I see all these people with the hot takes. Oh, Tebow, look at his blocking. He just bounced off the guy and spun around. Who cares? He's going to put people in the seats. They're not winning the Super Bowl this year. He's going to give them some flexibility and some ability to do some interesting stuff. He's a hybrid guy. What are you going to do? If he plays personal protector and he's like the third or fourth tight end, who cares? He gives you versatility. In the NFL right now, you need guys that are going to give you, like Felton yesterday, guys who can give you versatility, can do more than just one specialized thing. This isn't baseball. Right? We have to have guys who can do a lot of things, play special teams, catch, run, do whatever. Look at our wide receivers can throw. Jarvis and Odell can throw. We got a lot of stuff going on. Ryan Brown says, ready to see Anthony Schwartz out there when he gets back from the hamstring. Yeah. Tebow's out there, draw fans to TIAA Bank. Yeah, probably. I don't doubt that at all. I'd like to see Anthony Schwartz as well. I was talking to my dad this morning, and we were talking about the game and really pretty much everything I was just saying. And, we've got these wide receivers. So Higgins and DPJ are going to be like the new possession type guys. I don't think they're going to take you really off the top, but Rashard Higgins runs he runs such crisp routes. That's why he's out there. He's a professional. Rashard Higgins is so damn good, right? So you got those possession solid athletes. Then you've got your Jarvis and Odell. So you got your Pro Bowl level guys, and Odell's gonna be the deep threat, right? But you have to respect Schwartz as well. And I don't know if you have enough guys who can key up the matchup problems that Anthony Schwartz is gonna create. With his speed, if they're keying on Odell, and then Schwartz could go over the top. If they're keying on Jarvis can do one of those 15, 20-yard ins, those dig routes. Or it's going to open up DPJ down the seam, or, an out route from Higgins, right? So you have to respect, because they're going to key on Odell and probably Jarvis to a degree. And then you've got other opportunities for guys like Hooper that are going to open up, and Njoku that are going to open up. And oh, by the way, you've got to respect the best pure runner in the league in Nick Chubb, and probably the best, or at least one of the top 2 or 3 most versatile running backs in the league with Kareem Hunt. And oh, by the way, you've got the best offensive line head to toe in the NFL. I don't know how you're going to be able to stop these guys other than, knock on wood, injury or some other, poor bad luck. There's just too much talent out there. There's too much talent to do this. This is a team that has taken, many, many years to put together. And I'm really, really excited about that. And JOK last night showed that we can grab guys in the second round that can really make an impact. Guys like Greedy Williams that did not make a huge impact and unfortunately got injured. Grant Delpit, another guy we drafted who hasn't made an impact yet because he got injured. Unfortunately, it sucks to lose your job or lose your opportunity due to injury, but this is what happens. It's kind of the way the cookie crumbles in the world. So if we've got guys like JOK that are going to stand up and be like, look, I'm here to play. I'm not messing around. Mac Wilson, who unfortunately got injured, I'm hearing he's having a great camp, but a guy like Mac Wilson who hasn't given us, in 2 years, has Mac Wilson given us a game that looked anything like what JOK did last night? I'd argue no. Mac Wilson's had a couple, well, other than maybe his first or second preseason game himself, right, where he had an interception. So, and I think he brought it to the house, that interception. This is what, guys like Mac Wilson, you got to be on notice. you got to be really nervous that this guy's coming in here to take your role. The other thing that kind of stood out to me, obviously, when you see guys like Newsome, I wouldn't say Newsome struggled. I don't think he's going to be a guy who you're going to be able to pick on in the NFL. Maybe a little bit from a rookie standpoint, a really experienced professional wide receiver. I don't care how athletic you are. I don't care if you're Deion Sanders as a rookie. Professional wide receivers who've been in the NFL for 5+ years are going to be able to tear that guy apart. So if we've got, Denzel's got to be healthy. Johnson's got to be able to cover over the top, and so forth. So we have to be able to not put Newsome and make him be the man like we kind of did to Joe Hayden back in the day, like we kind of did to Denzel Ward, although he earned it from the very beginning, forcing these guys into roles to be like the CB1. We drafted a guy in the first round, end of the first round, who doesn't have to be a CB1. Just get better. And, covering guys like Jarvis and Odell and, DPJ and Rashard Higgins and stuff like that in practice should be good. Cleveland BCI, if we had Tebow, we'd have 4 potential quarterbacks on the field. OC would have a blast. Chubb's 7.3 yard per game from his 11th carry on. Easily tops the league. Literally ices game by himself. I agree, man. Now, I think the problem with Tebow is the same thing that you'd get with like Johnny Manziel, same thing you get with like Colin Kaepernick. It's the circus that comes along with it. And it's kind of annoying that you've got a guy who's playing out of position, 30+ years old, and, he's basically a 4th tight end who's getting so much media coverage. But, I mean, the dude earned it. He was arguably the best college quarterback of all time, Heisman Trophy winner, 2-time national champion, first-round draft pick, took his team to the playoffs his rookie year. I believe it was his rookie year. Won a playoff game. I mean, this is a guy that is, super, super Christian, and, he's got his loyal followers and disciples, you could say. So, Tebow's out there and he makes life interesting, but he's the circus. And I think that the only reason why he's out there is because Urban Meyer's there. And I think Urban Meyer could probably leverage a guy like Tebow and then just transition him right into coaching. Right. But I don't know what he would coach necessarily, because I don't think Tebow is a guy who's going to mechanically coach quarterbacks. I don't know. I don't know if he's cerebral from the professional level. Definitely college, but at the NFL level, you got to be like you have to be an expert at that position. And I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he could just be a assistant to the head coach type thing. Newsome will be fine once the ones are on the field and putting a ton more pressure on the offense. Yeah, Derek, I'm sure he will. Once he's out there and he's got that leg underneath him and all that kind of stuff, that's when you will see it getting a little bit better. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. But anybody who's there on Twitter, anybody watching on Twitter, like, please let me know what the quality looks like. This is the first time I'm going live on Twitter, so I'm kind of messing around with it. I don't know how good this is going to turn out, but I plan on having Twitter be another place where I'm live during the pre and post game. Pre-game show yesterday got quite a few views. I mean, I want to say over. Go to my channel right now and take a look. Videos. It's up to 14,000. It's pretty good. Pretty good on our pregame show. But people are excited, and I think a lot of it was from search traffic. People actually looking to watch the Browns-Jags game versus really look for just pregame analysis and pregame thoughts. Gage Fullen, I'm glad they're keeping the starters out to keep them healthy. The Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, I agree. There's really no reason. There's no reason for the starters to be out there. What are your thoughts on Nick Chubb getting an extension? I think it's awesome. And I think we didn't have to overpay for him. We paid the right price for the guy. The reality is with Nick Chubb, as great as he is, I mean, he is kind of a platooned player to a degree. I mean, we could give him the first and the third quarter, or the first, first quarter, then give the second quarter to Hunt, give the third quarter back to Chubb, platoon end of third quarter, fourth quarter with Chubb and Hunt back and forth, and then have him close it out in the fourth. He doesn't have to be the every down. He doesn't have to be a 30 carry back, right? So because of that, he's not going to be able to demand Saquon and McCaffrey type money because they're the only guy, right? And I think Nick Chubb is happy. He's not a greedy guy. He's not looking for to do like a Bell situation, what he did to Pittsburgh, where he just wants to get top dollar. But I think we paid him the right amount, and I think it's great that we have him. The really interesting thing next is going to be about what happens with Baker with his extension. I think he's going to get paid. I think he's going to do well. And it's good. Let's just lock this thing up. I mean, he's been the best quarterback we've had by far since he's been back. He holds some franchise records at this point. I do think that there's still he still has not hit his ceiling. Gage, Nick Chubb deserves it for sure. Is it a blast when he gets the ball in his hand? Yeah, he's been awesome. Those 20-yard plus runs are something that we're kind of getting used to, seeing a running back do 20-yard runs, but that's not a common thing, So, and that's why, with the Nick Chubb jersey, where's my Chubb jersey? I don't know what I did with it. I took it upstairs, but that's why I wanted to wear the Chubb jersey this year, and that's going to be the one. I love the orange jersey. I think it pops like on camera too. I think it's awesome. So very cool. Yeah, they'll definitely keep Mayfield. Yeah, because what's the other option? Is there another quarterback that's out there? Is there going to be a situation where like we can go out and get like an Aaron Rodgers and rent a Super Bowl like the Buccaneers did? I mean, I think in the long term, we all got to say to ourselves, do we want what's best for the Browns long term, or are we in it for the short term? And I think this team is in it for the long term. The only way that Baker does not get re-signed and come back is if he has some devastating injury. And we have another option. That's the only way. So if you look at situations where you had a starting quarterback that was kind of iffy or showed signs of being spectacular, but also kind of like, I don't know, and maybe there was an injury there, maybe they drafted another quarterback behind him. The one that reminds me of that is the Chargers situation when they drafted Phillip Rivers behind Drew Brees. They didn't know what they had with Drew Brees. They didn't know they had one of the best quarterbacks of all time because Drew hadn't shown him that yet. And then Drew gets an injury, and I believe it was the throwing shoulder injury. And then they have Phillip Rivers sitting there right behind him. And, Phillip Rivers is arguably a Hall of Fame type guy, like very borderline, but close, right? So, the only way the Browns aren't going to extend Baker is if we had another really highly taught after option, like, and probably a young option. And I just don't see it. I don't see us investing in that at this point. Like, it's just not going to happen. Plus, we don't want to create a quarterback controversy. We don't want to do any of that kind of stuff. Derek says, now that we've seen Josh Allen's extension, you feel better that the front office not pulling the trigger too soon. I think what Josh got is probably, it's just like he didn't get anything out of bounds, So I think as long as to be honest, I'll tell you guys, I know everybody's in love with Josh Allen, but I don't know. Like I'm more concerned about him. I think he's excellent. I think he's really, really good. I think he's an NFL quarterback, but I don't know. It's just so weird. It's so odd to see a guy like that take that many successful strides forward. But we'll see. I mean, they made the investment in him, so we'll see. Squabbling, I predict Cristano come back with lacquered hair like Bob Costa or a shaved head like Vince Lombardi. I think Ristano's got long hair going on, but he'll definitely be back. Other options, potentially waiting another 20 more years. Yeah, D-flat, you're right. I mean, that's just a silly option, right? Gage, in the early in the year, they wanted to trade for someone for Aaron Rodgers. I know that there are people that were like fantasizing about that, like trading like a Baker for an Aaron Rodgers, something like that. I think that would have been a very, very odd decision. And then it would have put all the pressure in the world on Aaron Rodgers, just like Tom Brady last year, but even more so because the Buccaneers, because Jameis Winston had been a knucklehead off the field for numerous times, they were kind of fed up with him anyway. It wasn't quite as bad from what I remember as the Deshaun Watson situation in Houston, but in Tampa, they were ready to move off of Jameis. He was just too much of a liability from his decision-making on the field, and then off the field, yeah, the character, the stuff that he had done was really not good. I think it was like groping an Uber driver like numerous times, like something that you just shouldn't ever do. It was just dumb. So yeah, but I don't know. For me, I've always been like a Baker stan. I fully back him. I think that he's the only guy who could have survived Hugh Jackson, Greg Williams, Freddie Kitchens, and then now been successful with Stefanski and taking steps forward. He's the only guy who could have done that. Rosen definitely couldn't. Darnold definitely couldn't. Lamar Jackson definitely couldn't. And then God, what else? And then you got Josh Allen, and Josh Allen took those huge strides forward, right? He took huge strides forward. Adrian, what's going on? Thanks for the host. Those huge strides forward, but he's had Brian Dable. He's had consistency, and then they've layered in talent on top of it. He didn't have, multiple head coaches, multiple offensive schemes, multiple languages that you have to learn every year. Numerous personnel changes like Baker Mayfield has. If we can stick with this core group for the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to see absolutely double-digit wins, and we're going to be competing for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is and always has been a very, unless you're the Patriots, it's been a thing that has been, teams get there and win it, and you think, oh my God, like you looked at the Seahawks when they won it with their defense and Russell Wilson being so young and everything like that. They won it, and you were like, God, nobody's ever going to be able to beat them. They're the greatest ever. And then the Kansas City Chiefs, who, Patrick Mahomes throws 50 touchdowns and does all this crazy stuff, and wins the Super Bowl, and nobody can ever beat the Chiefs. So it's like you got to be able to put it together at the right time and then make it happen. I think guys like Odell, guys like Jarvis, even Batonio and those guys, they want to get that ring. They want to get that closure, Treader as well, to their career. And I think that if they do, they'll probably be back unless there's some other option for them out there where they think they'd be happier. But if you win a Super Bowl, you obviously prove that you can do it. So I don't know how, I don't know how it could be bad then. Why not just come back and keep it up? I don't know. Jarv Baker's my guy. I actually think Josh Allen's ceiling is the highest. It could absolutely be. When he said he would change the team at the combine, I fully believe it had to be him. I agree too. I mean, he was ready to do that because if you look back to that year, I think everybody looked at Josh Allen and was like, dude, this guy's got the tools. This guy's got the size, the strength, the arm, the distance and everything. And if you could coach him right, he could be what Josh Allen is today. Right? He walked into the right situation and they made the right commitment and he's played really well. Right? And then you've got guys like the other options out there were Darnold and Rosen. Those are the two guys. And Rosen's already flamed out. Imagine if we took him first overall, Josh Rosen. Imagine if we took Sam Darnold first overall, and that was the option. So Dorsey made the right call in picking Baker. Because Lamar Jackson, nobody was talking about Lamar Jackson number one. Every team in the league basically passed on Lamar Jackson other than, the Ravens saying, let's go. But if you look back to what the Ravens had done, and where they were headed and what the Ravens have actually done in the past, they've always liked that kind of quarterback. Just Flacco just happened to come in there and, and do his thing and be okay. But I think the Ravens are the right spot for Lamar Jackson as well to really just take a chance on him and see how well he could do. And then Lamar Jackson's been fantastic for them. But yeah, Baker was obviously the guy. And I think he is because we don't have a better option. If the only other thing out there, if we rented Aaron Rodgers for a year and then we're throwing away our future because Aaron Rodgers is old, he's not going to be around forever. And, he wins one Super Bowl, he could be like, all right, I'm done. I did it again. I proved that I could do it again. I'm done. I'm ready to go and be a weirdo, off the field and just, ride out into the sunset. And we'll be like, remember Aaron Rodgers? He was really good. It could be that, right? But I don't know if I want to give up our future, and there's no guarantees. Just because you bring in Aaron Rodgers doesn't mean you win a Super Bowl. Just because you bring in Tom Brady doesn't mean you win a Super Bowl, even though they did. Doesn't mean you will all the time. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were 10-6 last year. They put it together for the playoffs. And, you got to believe a couple things that were really playing in their favor. Playing a home field Super Bowl, that's insane. Tom Brady literally going to his own locker to get ready for the Super Bowl, that's crazy. Pat Mahomes injured, coming off a concussion and that toe injury. So Pat Mahomes was shaken up. Their starting running back was out. Their offensive line was beaten up. The coach's son, gets a DWI the week of the Super Bowl. I mean, there's so many things going on with the Chiefs that, it just wasn't their time again. But if you put a fully healthy, no controversy Chiefs up against a fully healthy, no controversy Buccaneers, I think it's a closer game. And I think the Chiefs probably would have won that game. We'll see. Because they had in the past, right? They'd beaten the Buccaneers. All right. Mick the Dog is here. I actually think Josh. Okay, yeah. Typical game says Josh Allen's accuracy in college is horrible. Yeah, that's why. Baker Mayfield had one of the best, if not arguably the best statistical season of a college quarterback ever. Then Joe Burrow came and shattered that. But still, I mean, at the time, Baker Mayfield was the option. Oh yeah, just like back in the day, the Browns were winning championship after championship, and then they sold the team. They called the Super Bowl, and then everything went downhill. Yeah. J-Bone, I'm just impressed with the program that's been built 4 years ago. Would have been happy with our starters played last night. Yeah, exactly. Honestly. Would have been like, hey, we won a preseason game. Dude, if we would have had our starters out there, I think we would have scored 30 points, in the first two quarters. Like we'd put up against the Steelers. Urban Meyer, 17 Squabble Lane says, Urban Meyer will be the NFL megalomaniac equivalent to John Capillari getting humbled coaching the New York Nets, or Howard Stern running America's Got Talent ratings, forcing Simon Cowell back to save it. I don't, honestly, I don't think there's anything that Urban Meyer's going to be able to do. It doesn't matter. You could have Belichick running that team. You could have Vince Lombardi coaching that team, and it don't matter. That they don't have talent there, and it's gonna be a long time. Tampa was they were 11-5 last year. I thought they were 10-6. My bad. Okay, Tracy, thank you. I could have swore they were 10-6. So still 11-5 is not like 14-2. So I mean they were a beatable team last year, and they put it together at the right time. I mean, they were obviously very good, right? But they weren't the most dominant regular season team. They were beatable. I think Tampa Bay was beatable last year. I think they're beatable again this year. It's going to be tough. I think the teams that are out there that are going to be very difficult are going to be Tampa, Kansas City. I think that the Steelers have backtracked. I think we can easily beat the Steelers. Not easily, but I think we will beat the Steelers. The Ravens, we got to at least split against the Ravens. We got to beat them at home. We got to at least split the Ravens. And that would be huge. The Bengals, we should beat the Bengals twice again. I don't think they have enough talent there that they haven't retooled like we retooled, right? If we would have sent out that same defense that we had last year, then yeah, I think there's a possibility that we lose to the Bengals, because we almost lost to them the second time. Actually, we almost lost to them the first time too. We gave up a ton of points, and it came down to an onside kick, right? So, the big thing was we fixed the defense. The defense is much better, at least on paper. So we don't have those holes. We don't have the Sendejo out there. We hopefully, if these guys just got to stay healthy, and that'll do it. All right, guys. So that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to see how this looked on Twitter and make sure that I figured out how to make this thing happen. Thanks for hanging in and chatting with me, guys. D Flat, Ryan, Typical Gamer, Derek, Cleveland BCI, Gage. What else we got out there? Mick the Dog, Cody, J-Bone, Tracy. Thank you guys for stopping in. And we will be back. We'll be back to do a pregame show before the next preseason game, which is the Giants at home on the 22nd. So I believe it's next Sunday, right? For some reason, a week from today, we'll be back live again for the pregame. So I appreciate it, guys, and we'll see you